Good morning and welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoons. Uh, I'm going to do a couple things this morning. Uh, number one, I'm going to talk about Thelema in Dystopia. Now, I'm preparing a little talk for the Thelema Con that's coming up, so I'm not gonna spoil anything for that, for those of you who are going to attend that. But it is something that I've been studying and something that has been on my mind as I'm preparing my talk. And I'm going to share just a little bit of, uh, of sort of the collateral uh, material that I've been studying. And it's from Crowley's, oddly enough, from his Magic Without Tears, this little section I'm going to share with you today. But I want to do one other thing, which is sort of time sensitive. And you know I'm a shameless self-promoter, okay? And you also know that I am a shameless self-promoter because I've made no further provisions for my family's future. Okay, so I always plug my books and I plug my shows and things like that, and uh, hopefully you'll understand that and not be too irritated. But I'm in sort of a golden moment here as far as the cycle of publishing new books is concerned. And I do have a new book called Tarot Architect, The Tarot Architect. And the good folks at Weiser are my publisher. And they have, and it's gotten to the point, okay, we're working on it. It's already at the publishers, and we're at that stage that it is now in pre-sale. Okay, on Amazon and other places, but Amazon in particular is of interest to me. Okay, the book is The Tarot Architect. And my good friend of many, many years, Mary Greer, was kind enough to pen uh, let's get that brighter again, an introduction to it. And it's a kind of a unique book in a way. It's a little something different than I've ever done, and it is intended to literally build from within yourself the tarot universe. In a way, it's a way to lubricate you to the to the machinery of the cosmos. Uh, and at the end of it, you will have created your own personal tarot deck. Okay. So I'm requiring you to, or I'm hoping you will do a little work with it too and create your own tarot deck, but you'll see how it goes. The reason I'm telling you this now, it's not going to be released officially until spring of next year. In May, as a matter of fact. That's how long these things take, to get through the whole process. But it is now in pre-sale, which means that you can order the book now. You can go to Amazon and buy it just like you'd buy any other book. It's in Kindle too, but I would, you'll probably be best served with a hard copy. So it is for sale. It's at a regular retail price, which may change by May. But if you would order now, that price is locked in, and I believe should it go down, your purchase would still be reflect that that figure. But anyway, why is it so important, at least to me, that uh, if you can, pre-buy it on Amazon. The reason being that it helps the publisher determine how excited they want to be about promoting it, how many books that they initially want to print. In, in other words, it really helps the success of the book to have a respectable pre-sale figure. And so I'm encouraging you, if you haven't already. I know lots of you have, and I thank you very much. Constance, are you going for your bike ride? The disembodied Constance is.
It's a little late for it. Too much traffic. We'll see. I will go out into my prescribed exercise yard and see if I can make it.
Go out to the exercise yard. Don't let the bulls.
No, and I won't.
Or
I
other.
will not cross the barbed wire fence.
Don't cross the barbed wire
fence of my territory. Have a good show.
Thank you very much.
You can stop selling now.
I can stop selling now?
Well, I mean, for
Okay.
for today.
Okay, that is, and believe me, in a day or so, I'll give you all a break in my shameless promotion of the Tarot Architect, and I'll start it up again in spring when the book will be in your hot little hands. I'd like to remind you that if you pre-buy it, you won't be billed, you won't be charged for it until May, when it actually comes out and it's in your hand. So it's in a sense, it's costing you nothing right now to do your pre-order. Okay, there's that. Now let's talk about the nightmarish end of the world scenario, dystopia, and how a magician, or specifically a thelemic magician, continues to and must continue to survive, to thrive, to grow, to evolve under difficult social circumstances. Okay. And in my preparation for my talk, I was going through Magic Without Tears. Okay, Crowley's Magic Without Tears. And in the book called in the chapter 75, called The AA and the Planet. And it's one of the few chapters in Magic Without Tears that actually prints the letter that Crowley is responding to. Okay, and it does concern the idea of the AA masters, if you will, that AA is not a group thing, and the purpose of the AA is twofold. One purposeful, and one that actually has a political or a geopolitical relevance to the planet as a whole. And there's a little something I would like to read to you, because we are, whether we like it or not, at a phase in human society where great changes are occurring. and we can credit it to the new aeon of Horus we've entered in, and of course uh, that's a big part of it. But it's likely that because of the environmental collapse and the current unstable world situation, that we're in for a really bumpy ride. Now, there's been bumpy rides in the past, okay, but the weather has become was a consistent thing we could sort of count on, and the general health of mammals on the planet was more or less a given. That's no longer true. Okay, we're probably really in for a really bumpy ride, and we might think that in that bumpy ride, our uh, our focus would be on our physical survival, and indeed, a great deal of our focus will be on our physical survival. But at the same time, what are we physically surviving for? That is a precious thing that we should be concerned with as well. Uh, I'm going to start right here. When laws are reasonable in the eye, now remember, he's writing this probably in the late 30s or early 40s. And the events that he's writing about, a little later, paragraph down.
Yeah, a couple of times when I first got on here, I talked them over there.
Oh, somebody's talking out there. I think it's Constance.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Um, Took place back in 1904 when the Book of the Law was received. Okay. And that's Crowley's kind of first introduction to a personal introduction to what we might call the secret chiefs, or the AA, the head, the spiritual forces of the AA. When laws are reasonable in the eyes of the average man, he respects them, keeps them, does his best to maintain them. Therefore, a minute police force with powers strictly limited is adequate to deal with the almost negligibly small criminal class. A convention is laudable when it is convenient. When laws are unjust, monstrous, ridiculous, that same average man willy-nilly becomes a criminal. And the laws require kteka or Gestapo with dictatorial powers and no safeguards to maintain and it says farce. Could be either. That could be a typo. And it could be force, but I think farce is pretty. No safeguards to maintain the farce. Also, corruption becomes normal in official circles and is excused. Then he refers to a scandal in British politics with the Chancellor of the Exchequer. Okay. One evil leads to another. The seven devils take possession of the house that is swept and garnished to the point at which people find it uncomfortable. But is not all this beside the point, you ask? No. It was needful to indicate this cumulative progression to social shipwreck. Because today, an obvious peril of the most menacing. In 1904, no ordinary sane person foresaw anything of the sort, but special knowledge alters things. And it is certain that the masters anticipated with great exactness of calculation the way things would go in the political world. Practically all the messages received during the Cairo working. Now that's when Rose was helping Crowley, when Iwas was speaking through Rose to dictate the Book of the Law in Cairo in 1904. That's the event he's talking about. Practically all the messages received during the Cairo working, March, April 1904, came to me through Orada. That's his wife. That's Rose. Okay. Rose is, I think, Arabic for or Orada. Orada the seer. Now, many people say, oh, she just inspired him, or oh, he said, practically all the messages received during the Cairo working came to me through Orada. No, now, he's looking back as a bitter husband many decades later. No woman ever lived who was more ignorant of or less interested in anything to do with politics or the welfare of the race. She cared for nothing beyond her personal comfort and pleasure. When the communication ceased, she dropped the whole affair without a thought. She nearly always referred to the authors of these messages as they. When asked who they were, she would say haltingly and stupidly, the gods, or some equally unhelpful term. But she was always absolutely clear and precise as to the instructions. The new aeon was to supersede the old. My special job was to preserve the sacred tradition so that a new renaissance might in due season rekindle the hidden light. I was accordingly to make a quintessence of the ancient wisdom and publish it in as permanent a form as possible. This I did in the equinox. I should perhaps have been strictly classical and admitted only the publication of Class A or AB or B or D material. Those are AA categories of official documents. Okay. But I had the idea that it would be a good plan to add all sorts of other stuff so that people who were not in any way interested in the real work might preserve their copies. Now, many times I've said that Aleister Crowley sometimes wrote wild and outrageous things and sort of encouraged people to think that he was a black magician and a terrible Satanist and everything else. And so, but he would do it in such a poetic way as to, in his mind, everyone that had half a brain in their head would see, oh, he's being artfully poetic here. But to everyone else, he's a devil. Okay, it's like a few years back, I had run across while flipping the TV, uh, the Christian Broadcasting, one of the networks, okay? And as I was going past it, I saw Aleister Crowley's picture, and so I stopped and listened. And they said, this is Aleister Crowley, the Satanist, Aleister Crowley, the Beast 666. He's still alive, and he's running the drug trade out of Algeria or something. Okay. Crowley wrote, had not Crowley garnered that hideous reputation, his published works may have gone out of print within months. But no, both his enemies and his admirers have kept his stuff in print. Okay. Okay, where was I? Okay. But I had the idea that that'd be a good plan to add all sorts of other stuff so that people who were not in any way interested in the real work might preserve their copies. This, by the way, is the essence of this letter. This, by the way, the essence of this letter is to show that they, not one person, but a number acting in concert, not only foresaw a planet-wide catastrophe, but were agreed on measures calculated to assure the survival of the wisdom worth saving until the time, perhaps 300 or 600 years later, when a new current should revive the shattered thought of mankind. The equinox, in a word, was to be a sort of, I'll take that sentence again. The equinox, in a word, was to be a sort of Rosetta Stone. Okay, and the letter goes on and everything else. If you don't have Magic Without Tears, they are sort of hard to find in paperback or hard copy. But I believe there's a version, a Kindle version. It's not the best reproduced thing, but I think you might enjoy Magic Without Tears, because it's Crowley trying to explain lots of stuff to normal people. The people, mostly ladies, I think, or women, that wrote him, asking the same kind of questions you or me would be asking him. Anyway, that's it for today. I apologize half-heartedly for plugging and encouraging you to pre-order The Tarot Architect, but I'll try not to do it much more until next spring, when I'll hold it up. I'll hold up a hard copy and beat you up with a hard copy to buy a 6-pack or a box of them. Because, as you know, I've made no further provisions for my family's future. Until tomorrow for Sunday school, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will.